So before starting, I would like to share a small incident. When I landed up here in the campus, one of the organizers asked me, what exactly do you do in your research? So I told it's about, we work on green IT. So that guy was from mechanical background, so he had absolutely no idea of what green IT is. So he told, could you tell me in simple words, what exactly are you doing? I told him, it's like we are trying to reduce the pollution which is created by the computers. So he asked one very innocent question. I don't see any smoke coming out of the computers. So how is it that computers are creating pollution? So that was a very innocent question, and if he's present in the audience, I would like to answer it for him as well as other people. So let's start the answer by presenting some statistics to you. Let's assume the event of TEDx. Let's assume there were close to 200 registrations. Now each of them own a PC or a laptop. Now this is the statistics for you. A typical PC consumes over 110 watts of electricity and on an average generates 10 kilogram of e-waste. Okay, so now calculate the amount of pollution which this event TEDx alone is creating. Multiply 200 into 110 watts of electricity and 2000 kilograms of e-waste. So that's it from this TEDx event. Now imagine the kind of pollution which the entire world is causing because of computers. Okay, now leave the computers alone. Come to the part of internet. I'm not sure if any of you have come across the Google controversy, but I'm not sure if it is solved even. But there was a research from an organization which said that every Google search which you do, the amount of energy which is needed to give you the answer is almost equivalent to burn a kettle of half liter of water. So this is the amount of energy you are spending when you are doing a single Google search. And we all know, especially the research people, they have lots of files on their hard disk, but nowadays it's quite easier to search it on Google. Though you have organized your folder in a much efficient way, but you still find that Googling would lead you to the final file which you need. So we do a lot of search, and this is the contribution which a search is causing to the environment. And of course, we all work at certain places. Even this organization, there are more than 1000 PCs. So there are servers which are required to handle those PCs. Now the amount of cooling, the amount of energy consumption, the power requirement, etc., which is involved for the coolers. So now you can guess the answer for the question as to, even though the computers don't give out smoke, but this is the kind of pollution which computers generate. So a brief, I'll put it up more formally, what green IT is. If you say it in one line, it's the synonym to environmentally sound information technology. And there are actually two aspects of green IT. One, which I was talking about till now, the pollution part of computers. And second is how you use IT in order to spread the environmental awareness. So both of them come under the green IT section. And the problem today is the IT and ITS industry is going at a very fast pace. So the kind of progress which is being made there and the kind of progress which is being made on the environmental concern, there is a huge gap, and we need to address that gap. So again, these are the 4 domains as classified in literature. So it starts with green use. How do you use your computers? How do you use your laptops? The kind of screensaver mechanisms, the power settings which is there in your own systems, it all comes under green use. Then is the green design. If you have started with the design part perfectly, then you don't need to care about the usage part. So that's where most of the thinking is required. And then of course is manufacturing and recycling, which is the green IT disposal systems. So as you can see that it's not a part, it's not a CSR activity which is going on in an organization. It's not something which is extra, it's not something which is a burden. It's there in your entire business process. So which starts from procurement and ends up in recycling. So it's there in the entire cycle part. Next. So now we come to the most interesting part as to what was my personal motivation to go about green IT research. Well, they say sometimes the most complex problems are solved by the simplest people on planet. So my personal motivation for the green IT research was my mom. I would like to share a small incident. This happened during my first year of engineering. I was a student here in Amrita. So when I went to purchase a laptop, there was a beggar right in front of the laptop showroom with no clothes and antivirus in our system. We used to play with the viruses, and sooner we became Dr. Virus, because for every virus we have a light solution that this is how you will tackle this particular virus. And then we, even for our networking subject, we had to do a project. So we had built up a game, Counter-Strike 2D version, so that multiplayers can play using their mobiles. So that was the time when we actually learned about what networking is. Because when two players were playing Counter-Strike, they were not moving synchronously. Then we went back to our textbooks and saw why is this happening. Then we applied the protocol in that particular problem and it was solved. So experimenting is about fun and it's about what application you do regarding what you have studied. So that's why I chose research, because it's always fun. And especially the young people like you have immense, you and me of course. So we have immense potential in order to do this research. And generally people think that PhDs are done by people who are 40 to 45 age who have nothing to do in life. But that's not the case. PhD demands enthusiasm and passion. So this is what I have framed up in the form of two P's. Okay. So this P is about passion. We all have different passion. In this particular room, if we call out what is your passion, I'm sure we'll get n identical passions. Some people like playing Counter-Strike, some people like photography, some people like dancing. So we all have different passion. So this is the tremendous potential of passion which the young people are capable of and which we have to tap it. So at one end, there is one P, passion, and at other end, this is the second P, problem, which is being ignored largely. So problems can be environmental problems, poverty, wastage problems. So now, as I told you, why starting at a young age, why doing research at a young age, is because we have this potential of combining the passion and the problem. Now someone of you might ask that how can Counter-Strike, if someone's passion is Counter-Strike game, how can someone playing Counter-Strike solve a problem like hunger? So for them, I'd like to tell you that there is a research being conducted in which they have taken up the gamer community. For your information, the gamers, for those of you who are not into online gaming, the gamer community is totally different from the ordinary community. What they have is immense concentration and innovation. They work out different strategies in different games. For each next game, it's not identical to the previous game. So what you have now is the tremendous concentration power. What you have now is the tremendous innovation power, and we can use this power in order to solve real world problems. So the research which I was talking about, they invented certain social games in which they called upon this gamer community, exactly the Counter-Strike community, to come and play those games, and they found out really innovative solutions which they have already implemented in order to solve the hunger problems in India as well as abroad. So this is what I was talking about, the power to combine the two P's, passion and problem. So coming back to my research part, what exactly am I doing in the management research when green IT is concerned? So the thing is, if you take up green technologies, I'm not sure if you are aware about some technologies like grid computing, cloud computing, etc. So what is happening in today's world is, a green technology comes up, okay, there is a buzz which is created, there is a hype which is created, many people work on it, and after some time it just fades away. So that is that is what is happening with the green technologies. So this is the result of Google search. The first figure which you see is regarding grid computing. So that technology came up around in 2003, 2004. So there was a big hype created about grid computing. Many people worked on it, and now you can see how the interest fades away over a period of time. While the second one is a more latest one, which is cloud computing. So now cloud computing is on the verge. So it's rising and it's rising. So now this is the interest, agreed, but after over a period of time, it may just fade out. So now we as management researchers, we try to understand this problem, that why is it happening? Why are the green technologies fading away? So we decided to answer these simple questions. Are green technologies really green? So for this, we asked certain startups and certain organizations as to why they don't implement green IT in their organization. So a very simple answer was, they know the advantages of green IT, but they don't know whether if they will implement, what exactly they will benefit out of it, and they don't know which technology to implement. So what we are researching for is to find out, are green technologies really green? If so, what kind of profit can they benefit to the organization? And next, what we are looking for is many organizations, they start implementing green IT, but it's just a matter of 1 month. They started and then they are not able to sustain over a period of time. So how can you sustain these initiatives and integrate it with your business process? So that's the second aspect we are looking for. And then, is innovation possible out of green IT? Let me tell you, Cisco started with green initiative as just a CSR act or something, but now green networks or the green routers have become their competitive advantage. Now they are striving on it. So this is how innovation can be derived out of green IT. So at the end of it, from today onwards, if you can think of green IT, implementing green IT in your practical life, if you can think of switching off your monitors when you are not using it, switching off your systems when you are not using it, and the most important part, customizing the purchase of your PC. We all flaunt today that yes, I have purchased a laptop, I have purchased a PC which has 500 GB of hard disk, which has some 4 GB RAM, this core processor, that and all that. But we don't think whether we actually require that much space, whether we actually require that much RAM, because I might be using only Word and internet. For that, a netbook is enough. But just to flaunt, we purchase a higher configuration of computers, which is actually degrading the environment. So if you can just think before purchasing your laptops and PCs, and if you can start using screensavers at least, then my purpose is half solved. So that's it for today. Thank you everyone.